Welcome to Boozy Browsing. I'm Meeky.
And I'm not.
All right, Matt, what are we doing today?
So we got some good guests today, finally. Not that the past ones were bad, but the ones where you and I are just chatting are kind of boring. What do you think? So we've got Laura and Ariel from UX Design. I always say UXDC, but it's UX Design Collective.
But at least you say it correctly. We have people just call us UX, which I'm like, yes, we are UX.
You're the UX.
Isn't that the same thing? I mean, UX and design, it's UI, it's all the same thing,
It's all
right?
all of that
you see.
all that good stuff. But
that's
yeah,
coming from a developer that knows that he should care,
yes,
and does, but I'm lazy for sometimes when I describe what you guys do and
you did it
what
all.
people like you do. Actually make things understandable and usable on the internet.
That's exactly right. On the internet, on software, mobile apps, all the fun places.
In our homes.
And in our homes. And in our lives.
Right.
Always
so the important part of our discussion is cracking open or opening our drinks and describing it. Meeky, if you want to go first, I'll just get the noise out of the way.
So Matt always represents Colorado beers, and I actually didn't know what Florida beer is. Also, I don't really drink beer. I was always like drinking wine. But this time I actually went out and bought it. I don't know if this is Colorado beer, but the only one I could find is Colorado is like ginormous beer called Colorado Mist. I was like, I'm not drinking that. So I found something I like the drawings of. This.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool drawing. So I'm going to try this. Edmund's Oost Brewing Company. So that's what I'm drink today.
Oost?
OAST. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know. What does that even mean?
I have no idea. But it's a cool drawing, so.
It is a cool drawing. That's like a tattoo. I like that. All right, Laura. Matt, yeah. You want to introduce your
No, I'll do mine because mine has so I've done this one before, but I didn't break enough for lunch to go out and get beer today. So it's Four Noses, but I got a cool design too because it's con leche. The Imperial Stout with
it's a skull, right?
It's like a skull with some print on it.
It's a Day of the Dead skull.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's beautiful.
So it's not a Four Noses logo. I think it's there specific to this beer. Oh, and it's El Jefe, I think, is the script that's written over it. I don't know that. Yeah. I do enjoy the beer because I like dark beers.
That looks like a dark beer. It's giving that energy.
Right. Yeah, dark and
goth.
Oh, it's just he's like boom.
You want to go next?
What do our guests have?
Oh. I am drinking a rosé.
An entire bottle. Yay.
Appropriate. By the way, this is from before. So I'm innocent. But it is a rosé, and I want to say it's from Slovenia because we have a really fantastic wine restaurant in town here in the Catskills in Margaretville called Oda Wine, and they introduced me to this rosé, and it's fantastic. And as you could see, it's not expensive, $13. But it doesn't taste $13. It tastes much more. And then what I also do, because my husband's French and he taught me this, drop an ice cube inside, and that's called a piscine, which means pool. So I have an ice cube floating in my rosé to keep it.
Yes, you're watering it down.
Yes, and cooling it down.
Yes, and I am drinking red wine that was in the refrigerator because I opened it yesterday. and I have my little rubber top.
Yes.
But it's called Tenedo. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. It has a pretty label. It's sort of like an illustration of eyeballs and flower petals and arms.
Ooh, that's a little crazy there.
My image that has like 3 arms.
Yeah, it's like there's 4 arms. There's like a bunch of eyeballs, and but it's organic wine, and it's from 2023. And where's it from? It is from Spain.
Nice.
So I know I'm really messing up the name.
Say it again.
Tinedo.
Tinedo.
Yeah.
Tenedo?
Tomato.
Denedio.
Teneo? Tenedo?
Denedio. I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm kind of curious because since you guys are kind of design related, how many times do you actually get the bottle of wine based on their bottle design?
I'd say 95% of the time.
Oh, based upon what the label looks like?
The label, yeah.
I think I mean, for me, I go with the organic because I try to drink the organic. But and then also price will be
price. The combination price and packaging.
Yeah.
But
I do that too. The pricing and the packaging is like, if it looks cool, the cool bottle, I'm like, oh, I want to try that.
100%. When I see a cool looking label, I'll be like, yeah, because I bet the inside's good based on a drawing.
Right.
But that's my first time I ever got that bottle. So I try different ones if I can.
Yeah.
I do like how, both Meeky and most of our guests bring a bottle of something. And I'm stuck with the one can, and I'm like, do I walk out during the podcast and get another drink?
This is a planning skill, right?
It shows a lot on my ability to
to prepare.
plan even an hour or 30 minutes. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm joining you today. Well, actually, I do have a backup.
Oh.
And I have to say, if you want a little light snack to go with your wine, these crisps, these Parmesan crisps are very good.
Ooh, I tried that. They're really
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Quinoa in them, but they're Parmesan crisps, and they're amazing.
That's excellent. So next time I should have a spread with cheese and bread and do the whole French thing.
And you have to do this pinky thing.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but I have a hard I now look at myself drinking beer after doing this, and I realize how daintily I hold a can of beer. I mean, I have relatively big hands, so holding a can is kind of awkward. So, yeah.
So am I gonna do the weird
But a cup is fun. I think that's normal. But when I'm holding a can, I feel like and seeing myself hold a can, it's like, oh, that's.
Now I'm gonna be all self-conscious about how I'm holding my glass.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That's all we want to do is. Well, that is actually what we do. We judge websites, so we might as well judge each other too.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. And I do have water to chase it down, so I'm not being totally irresponsible.
Meeky just fills her water with vodka. You don't have English.
So beer with a vodka chaser.
Yeah.
I love that.
100%.
I love that.
So we will do some, I want to do some reviews of some random websites just because that's fun.
Oh,
yeah. I was having a hard time, and maybe we can just decide what other websites. Didn't want to pick a random one and be one you guys have worked on or want to work on, like an RFP out there or something. That would be just odd.
That would be uncomfortable.
I mean, we did, for ones we've lost together, maybe we could do. If you knew that they actually went live, wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome.
I've thought about that in the past.
It's like the revenge episode.
Yeah, 100%. But one introduction, because let you guys introduce yourselves a little bit too. But I mean, we've been trying to working together a bit for a number of years. But Ariel and I worked together at Fox News ages ago.
Decades.
I think literally.
We literally figured because we were talking about this other day that it was early 2000s or 2000.
Right. Yeah. It would have been.
Yeah.
Because it was 18 years since I left Fox News, basically. We're close somewhere. So it was 8 years in my last company, 10 years now at Endeavor. So yeah. Almost.
And then I brought you back in because we worked together twice. You were at Bond.
Yeah. Well, yeah, North Point. Yeah.
At
so
North Point. That's right.
With you. So I was at Time Inc. before you, and then you were there after me.
Yes. So that whole publishing media space is very incestuous, and you cross paths with people repeatedly. Matt and I have crossed paths numerous times. And one of the main I remember you and I, when we first had our real big conversation, we talked for over an hour about content management systems because that's how we roll. And I was like, he's my kind of person.
Yeah.
Talking
I don't
CMS.
know why CMSs are so interesting to me.
I don't know, and not a
It's
lot of
so
people don't
basic.
get it. But it is really cool. It's about providing these tools because it could be the most boring work ever, right? To maintain a website. So creating tooling that just makes it easy to do and find related content and automate aspects of it. I still love it to this day. I still, and then you obviously do too.
Have until the last like 3 months. So
Oh,
we can get into that when we talk about AI.
oh, ooh, okay. Yeah. The curse and the blessing that is AI. Yes. Our robot overlords. Yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, actually, I have we'll chat about that because the conversation I was telling you about today, like I literally think AI is lying to me, and I'm catching it in lies, and it's apologizing for lying. Like,
That
what is going on?
that 100% has happened to me where it's like, "Oh, sorry, you're right." I'm like, "But okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Trust but verify."
it was telling me today, I'll do better next time. Like, how about you just do it the right way the first time and stop
But you're a
telling me you
machine.
can do something? Yeah,
Is it lying or is it making a mistake? Because I
I
find
asked it, and it just said, "I'm sorry."
it didn't tell you.
Yeah, it wouldn't tell me.
I mean, it gets things wrong, but I just assume it's just because it's getting something wrong, and I'm double checking, and I'm like, but that's not accurate. I'll say that's not accurate, and I'll be like, you're right, I'm sorry. And sometimes they'll repeat the inaccuracy, and then
Yes, I got to repeat it.
you're not, you're still not accurate. That's not true.
Yeah. This wasn't with like a response to like a question. This was me asking it to do something. It said it did it. And this is getting a repeating like theme. Like I'm doing it in multiple LLMs now, and I'm now getting a lot of the same stuff like and it apologizing and I'll do better and like no, you just said you did it, but you didn't. And
That's
now I'm asking you to do it again and you still didn't do it type of thing.
that's not
Well, think about how many people actually think that it is truly working, right? That
Right.
don't
Just because it's taking time.
yeah.
Yes. Some
And it,
companies building their jet engine based upon, you know, what I mean? Like I'm just thinking, like, when is this going to this fail going to impact like a lot of people?
well, there was a case semi recently where it was embedded as part of some sort of medical, I forgot what platform it was, but doctors and nurses were relying on it for medical information and it was hallucinating.
Boy.
That's not a place where you want hallucinations. Like it's one thing where like, okay, so you misrepresented what I'm trying to do in this RFP response. It's a whole other thing where you're like, here's how you treat this type of cancer. Like that's not where you want. Like don't do
Kind of
that.
scary. I mean, like,
Useful for like, I mean, I used it to, I had like, you know, I had it read back medical results to tell me what it meant. And I
Mhm.
found it really useful, but if it's giving inaccurate information,
Lying.
yeah, like no, those white lesions are totally fine.
No, you're supposed to be bleeding.
Yeah,
kind of makes sense because they're scraping all the data that's the internet. So, like, if you're looking at WebMD, sometimes it's like, oh, I have a red rash with red dots. What am I having? It's like you could have
Yeah,
from like a really tiny skin rash or like irritation to a cancer or AIDS.
exactly.
It's kind of like the way too much broad range to figure out what you're doing.
And think if it's this bad now, wait until it's monetized to give you recommendations.
Yeah.
Like
These are the innocent days.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
are the relevant. We'll look back on this like, oh, remember when it was just,
anyone can
oops.
do anything or
Now it's gonna have an agenda. Now it's gonna try to sell you stuff. So yeah, this is when SEO, which I guess what would be AIO, AI optimization.
right.
There's gonna be some new acronym to describe this thing where they're gonna try to make money off of the results. And yeah, it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be really tricky. But you had posted something, Matt, on LinkedIn that really resonated and upset me. So, and I had this conversation earlier with someone who does content strategy on our team, that using AI now has basically wiped out any copy editing job, like junior copywriter job, because
Oh,
it's just going to
right.
go AI.
Yeah. It was mainly about us, but yeah, same thing
And then
across
you
everyone.
had talked about the fact that, new software engineers are not going to be able to find jobs because there's going to be all these AI tools that can do that, the first level, entry level engineering. And so what does that mean for our future? If none of our kids who, mine's 18, yours similar age, like they go out in the job market, they try to get jobs and there's nothing there.
Someone was saying, I don't know who it was. It said it was like they're telling people to become plumbers, like things
That's
that.
why I read that. That's what I
Yeah,
read.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this went dark fast. I'm gonna drink now. So that means
Well,
our kids are going to live at home for like the rest of their lives.
no,
No,
no.
don't.
I still like the meme because I do RV and like do that type of thing. Like there were memes around like I'm doing this so that I have no address for the kids to come back. Like just come travel. There is no ability. I even told my wife like, wouldn't it be nice to downgrade after they leave? She's like, no, they have to be able to come back. I'm like, they have to,
Do we?
right?
My husband was joking about like he wants to get a houseboat and float around. I'm like, I don't want to live in a houseboat. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, what about the cats? And they're like, they might start to like it. I'm like, no, cats
No, they will absolutely hate it. They will
Well, they'd
absolutely.
love it if you were close enough to land and the birds came, except for they might jump off.
But wait, in Florida with the alligators? No,
That's true.
they become alligator food.
Well, they're
That's
not
true.
in the ocean, really, are they? I mean, I think there's some that can go in the ocean, but I don't think they live in the. You know what I mean?
I think they're crocodiles. Like, there's a difference because
I never remember alligators are more. I don't know.
yeah, they're normally inland in Florida. I think crocodiles only in like Miami area and Key West
Okay.
area, so they look different. They're like narrow and they're more vicious. I think is what I heard. I don't think I've seen like a crocodile.
I've only seen alligators everywhere in Central Florida. That's where my parents were.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh my God. And they're huge,
Yeah.
huge dinosaur type creatures.
But normally they don't care. It's like as long as you don't bother them, because like it's a lot of times when you accidentally step on their napping time or like
Right.
dogs yapping at them, like or something like that. So they normally don't want to do anything with people who are rolling or walking around.
I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah.
Risk it.
Yeah,
I will go the other way.
The same thing is about like the bison in Yellowstone. Sure, they normally don't care until they kill you.
Exactly.
Until they turn and throw your vehicle off the road. Like,
I mean, we have bears up here in the Catskills. We have black bears, which obviously, nothing like the grizzly bears, but still, for the most part, they don't want to interact with people. However, more recently, there are so many of them and they're encroaching where people are. And if they just like, my husband saw one on Friday, and literally this bear was just like looking at him, and the neighbor across the street was looking at him. He was just like, what? Now what? So that's like when they start getting a little acclimated to people.
Yeah. Don't mess with.
when you're
bears.
bringing in the groceries and they're like, thanks for lunch.
Exactly. We have one of those bear-proof trash cans, but it's in our garage. We won't put it out because I was told by our contractor, I'm like, what do we get to hold trash that can repel bears or keep them out? He's like, nothing.
Yeah.
Too smart.
Way. Yeah.
He's like, they can do anything.
I remember in Jersey, we had a swimming pool, and because we had a vacation, and we just kind of had it for a little bit. I remember when we just closed the swimming pool, and there's a bear family. I guess they were drinking out of the swimming pool because we weren't really there. I remember they're like one baby bear's kind of like tapping on the cover, and they're rolling around.
Cute.
It's cute, but it's like the most dangerous time because mama bear is right next to the three cubs. and they're tapping on our swimming pool cover because like they couldn't figure out. But the funny thing is, we had a stream right down, like literally a meter away.
So why would they go in the stream?
Like we're like those lazy bears. They're just so used to drinking out of the swimming pool. They're just tapping
That's
on
so
it.
cute. They're so cute. And my toxic trait is that I could go out and befriend them.
My
What?
wife talks about hugging the bears all the time.
Yes,
No,
right?
no, no,
Come
no, no.
on.
Laura's like, no.
Until they charge at you. I've seen that.
Yeah, I just watched an interview with Werner Herzog, and he did the bear
Oh,
documentary.
yeah, that was.
And and he actually said, like, I mean, in the interview, he was like, people have a misconception that like the wild animals are people's friends, and they really are not.
They're not.
They're not.
So
And
they'll
you're,
rip you apart.
Yeah.
Literally.
And
yeah.
like even just like one swipe,
Oh, forget it.
you're like disemboweled.
Yeah, I would never
No.
have to go there. And then,
No.
I mean, it's as long as they can hear you coming, because we hiked in Yellowstone and we took rocks and we had them in a canister and we would just shake the whole time.
Yeah.
Just
I have bear bells that I like when we walk Chewy. I haven't, although I've neglected using them, but put him on the leash and then you just shake them to make noise as you
I had
walk.
those too. Yeah.
Well, I did also discover, I did look up on ChatGPT, like I said, are there saltwater crocodiles or alligators? Not for alligators, but definitely for crocodiles. So there are some
Oh,
that live
okay.
in
So then
saltwater.
that's the difference.
Coastal areas. Probably in Florida there might be some. So
I'll stay
I've seen
away.
there's some that come up rivers and stuff.
I'll stay away. No, thank you. No, thank you.
That's like being afraid of sharks on the beach, though. I mean, it's a thing, but
But are you really going to see them? I don't know. I've seen a lot of for alligators. My parents were in Central Florida and they were in one of those retirement communities because of course they were. And they had, little man-made lakes all over and filled with alligators everywhere.
sure. Well, yeah, it's something to see them, but it's not like you don't see someone getting attacked by an alligator.
No, but it ate a bunch of dogs and cats.
I mean,
It was taking pets all the time. And they would have to get the animal control guys to
Yep.
come and like wrangle a giant, really giant one.
That's our version of we have coyotes all over.
We
They don't have
do?
the dogs very much, but the cats. Like a neighbor was. I live in not a rural, like it's a sub pocket inside of a normal neighborhood, but it's like semi-rural. And one of the neighbors was making fun of the people that put their missing cat pictures up. I'm like, sorry, if it's out overnight,
well, also
anywhere near here, it's gone.
there was
Yeah.
a kid. Wasn't there a kid that a coyote tried to grab a kid? I saw a video where
I mean,
it
they're
was
big and they are pack animals. They'll lure things out. They'll even lure dogs away and then attack them. But
it's like the dingo ate my baby.
Coyotes are everywhere. I remember seeing them in Jersey too.
Yeah. Coyotes are, you know what they've found here? I'm a little obsessive researching the wildlife in this area, but they have found coy wolves, which is a hybrid of a coyote and a wolf. And wolves were kind of pushed out, hunted out of New York, but they're coming down from Canada and they found them now sort of in the northernmost states. And then the coyotes now are mixed with the wolves. And so they're bigger than your standard coyote and much more vicious.
great.
So, yeah. So that's fun.
That's gonna
Yeah, that's a whole political thing in Colorado because they reintroduced the wolves here. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people that voted for it thought wolves, dog size, like not
No.
like stand up and they're above your head.
No, they are
size.
they're
Massive.
massive
Yeah.
creatures. And you mentioned the politics of it. It's really interesting. So it's legal to hunt coyotes, obviously illegal to hunt wolves. But then what is the designation for a coy wolf? And what you won't know just looking at it, like, is this 10% wolf? Is it 70%? You don't know. So where does it stand legally? So there was a really fascinating podcast I heard about.
I know that. So that's the interesting people don't understand. Like it is the hunter's responsibility. So regardless of how similar something may or may not be, if you kill something that was not your or harvest, right? It's your responsibility. So no matter how close it was, looked like, it's you have to know.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's like especially the exotic or like endangered or something that's not supposed to be done. Like there's some very specific ones that are too close to like male or female birds, and
right.
there's big things that but when they're like moving that quick, I don't know how people know to do those things. But yeah, it's the person's responsibility. So.
You're exactly right, because they had said, this guy during this podcast said that there was a hunter that killed, initially thought it was a coyote, but then when he got closer, he's like, not sure, and so sent it to, I forgot where DEP controls the hunting, but I don't know that if who he contacted, but they started doing testing, and they were like, coyote, but also wolf. So that's when they discovered that, oh no, they are coming down and
Yeah.
mixing with the coyote population, and they're beautiful creatures. I couldn't hunt
Are
coyote.
they like with the donkeys that they can't reproduce anymore? Like, are they like that too?
No, they reproduce.
Oh.
They definitely reproduce. Yeah, and they're becoming more dominant over the coyotes and the wolves because it's sort of like best of both.
Yeah, they're
It's
more
like
vicious.
evolution, right? So they're best of both. But we do have a lot of coyotes here. We have a lot of them. They're beautiful. And again, my toxic trait is like, here, puppy.
No.
Have a treat.
Laura's like, no.
No.
Laura's supposed to come up, and now she's scared.
Is scared to see them, and I have seen the coyotes up close and personal camping, but I saw a bear like like moving really fast, hurtling over this giant fallen tree, like easily. They're so fast, the bears.
Oh, that's wild. Was that a grizzly or a black bear?
It was a black bear, but it was in Yellowstone.
Okay.
And the car just like people pulled over to watch, and in fact, I was trying to take a close up shot of a buffalo, and as someone drove by, they're like, they can run, like 35, 40 miles, whatever they said, it was like pretty fast, and I was like, oh shit, the car pretty quick because they're not nice. Buffalo are not nice.
Yeah, these are wild animals.
Yeah.
No, I mean we've been to Yellowstone a couple of times. Like I was saying, like you could be sitting there because it's the jams, right? And they'll be walking through the roads, and you'll see them bump and break off mirrors. Like it's not often, but I've seen it. Like they're just. I don't think they do. I don't know if they do it on purpose because they don't care what's in their way.
Yeah.
Oh,
if a person's in their way,
houses. I mean, how big are they? I've never seen one in person.
They're big. I mean, they're not as big as for this room, but they're, I'd say like a large steer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a Jeep, and its head was at my window, and its body was more than half the width of my Jeep.
Are you serious?
Like,
oh, that's huge.
Big, the full size. I mean, the calves are. I mean, they're bigger than cows. I would say. Like steers, probably like a better example because those are strong and big.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
Laura, the last time it wasn't the last time we came up, but one of the more recent times we were driving along the reservoir, and this creature runs across the road and stops. It was like 11 a.m. during the day, and we stopped the car, and we're like, it was a bobcat kitten.
Yeah, which really unusual to see. I have not seen a bobcat.
They're very elusive. They're very hard to see, but he was so little round head, little skinny tail, and I was like, that's a bobcat.
Also vicious.
Exactly. Like those, and again, I'd be like, here, kitty. No, can't do that. Keep telling myself no, even though I want to.
I feel like this might have it doesn't seem like it's overlap with AI, but I feel like now that we're discussing like, oh, they're cute and they're cuddly, it's useful.
It's useful. Kill you. And then it exactly. Like at some point, this is not going to be so fun, useful, amusing. And I feel bad for the kids. I feel really bad for our kids.
I do go through a couple of cycles each week of like, yes, I feel that way, and then I use it for a long enough time, and I'm like when we started the conversation, like it is so painful to use sometimes.
Yeah,
and it's a system, so why is it changing? Like I feel like they're developing and actually adding things, and now it's just getting worse.
Yeah. Well, I'd heard that 3.0 was slightly better than 4.0. 4.0 is faster, but there were more hallucinations in 4.0 than 3.0. Great. That's awesome. I mean, it's very creepy. I had told this story before where my husband was having an incident where his heart was racing and he had very high blood pressure. So I'm like, he was like immobile with fear, didn't know what to do. So I went on ChatGPT. I was like, so my husband's blood pressure is this. And ChatGPT, Mr. GPT, responds, it sounds like he should go to an emergency room because he's having some sort of event. So you should go do that and then let me know how it goes. And I was like, no, that was too much. That was too much. You like, okay, no, not going to follow up on this, but agree. We went to the ER, but it was a little like,
I started asking for sources for certain
that's a
things.
good idea. That's why I like Perplexity because it gives you the sources right there.
No, ChatGPT does like starts putting like there's like these little tags that'll kind of say where they were looking as it's starting to spit stuff out.
I have a thought around that, and it's probably not accurate at all. Like I feel like the sources and the volume of information that it gives us is to overwhelm most people because they don't care, just like the headline and copy of a real article, right?
Yeah.
They don't care to read the copy. They're just going to read the first answer and then go for it. And they know that.
It gave me a source, so it's accurate.
Right.
Without
And maybe that's totally off base, but I feel like the more I interact with it and clearly see like, no, that's not right. And then again, it's not like answers, it's more around like building something.
Yeah. I mean, it's
very confident though.
Oh, and we know from working in this industry that people don't read, right? Like people don't read. So they're just going to read the headline. They're just going to read the takeaway and trust because it's returned a source. So that's like, it's sort of a dark UX pattern, right? It returns a source. So you're like, oh, it's fine. But people won't do that due diligence of like validating that that source is.
Yeah, Meeky was doing some research on some other industries. I don't remember the specifics exactly, but I was quite like, we started questioning, was like, it just seemed very positive, like almost confirmation bias of what we were asking it. And like leading us along to go ahead and do that because it was almost a guaranteed thing. You've got to go into this industry, like,
I was constantly saying that you're being too conservative. You're very like conservative, but it's optimistic. It's gonna give you more advantage. Blah blah. I'm like, what? How?
Let's see. That's a
It's a new industry. We don't have like that much experience with. How is that an advantage from other industry that we developed? It's not really one to one.
That's
like, I
right.
feel like this might be a good. I'm just coming up with this now. Like asking one of them that knows kind of what we do, Meeky, like, should we get into UX UI? Like, should we start doing it and seeing what it tells us? So I feel like it would be positive. And it's like, there's no, like Meeky could. She's actually has the background. But our website, like me, like says nothing that I could do any kind of UX.
But I think you're right that it tends to put like a rosy, sunny day response, regardless of what it is. I was using both ChatGPT and Perplexity to research robot vacuums. And I was like, compare like what are the top ones? But it was sourcing a lot of like the reviews and the positive stuff from those marketing websites. And I'm like, I feel like that's a biased source. Like, I'm not sure that I trust all these reviews. These are not independent reviews. It's not Consumer Reports. It's not like some of the testing sites. So I'm like, you're recommending this, but I don't know. I don't really trust you.
Mm-hmm. That was exactly when we did our debate against Headless. It was literally just spewing out marketing, like other people's articles that were purely pro Headless.
And now that all these articles are written by AI, you're getting AI responses to it.
I know. I should know better.
That one was Grok. We were testing out Grok. There are different engines models that you use are a little better at different things. Like the researching is better. Like I think I like Perplexity on research, but writing is better at Claude. And then O3 is better at reasoning, and there's like a bunch of other things. Even if you're switching over LLMs, there's other engines. Now you have like a drop down of all different things you can select. So you switch it to get a better results. So like you get a little more accurate information.
I need a cheat sheet to know who's best at what. So I see those drop downs. I'm like, I don't know when to use Claude, or I'm not had good luck
Yes.
with Gemini. I don't know which one's
I
best.
actually mentioned that the other day because you don't know what O3 means, like four whatever ChatGPT 4 is, what Claude Sonnet 3.5 means. So he was like, they need to do a better job in explaining from the data what exactly those are. And
Right.
it's probably
This is
one of
great
those
if just for writing, use this one. Is for reasoning, use this. For research, use that. Like I need to get I need a spreadsheet. It all comes down to wanting a spreadsheet always.
I mean, some people keep their own, and I think there's a one website I can send it to you after that will kind of look at, because like they kind of give you a graph of what's generally good at.
I need
But it's not. I don't know how accurate that is.
I need that because I see that drop down list and I'm like, I like that in theory. I just don't know which one I should use now.
And they come up with the new ones all the time. So
Exactly.
you can.
And then does it like evolve? Do they like at one point it was good at reasoning and maybe not so much now? Like these aren't static things. They're always evolving. So
Yeah, and then you have to watch closely, because I do have like I watch closely on some of the new things that are coming out in different AI like LLMs and engines and things like that. So that's why I know a little bit about like when O3 came out, it's gonna be better at reasoning, and you want to use it in different things. And like O3 Pro, it's gonna be very expensive computation, and then it's like all these things. I was following little things like that, but if I missed that, there's a lot of new things came out that I was like, what did I just miss?
yeah, exactly. And you're right, they come out constantly. So I'm sure next week there'll be a new LLM that, or an agent that like, are there differences between the agents that are created within, the mini GPTs that are created within Chat GPT, for example?
Yeah. And now there's so many of it. Like sometimes you want to just cross check. So I'll just use 4 different ones just to make sure that I get the best one out of 4.
Right.
So that just takes
literally
longer.
like, where's the efficiency advantage? Now you're having to like cross check everything, and I've just done the research myself.